Hey guys, today I want to make a strategy video for debates. And I want to talk about one very important strategy, one thing that I think really makes debate very simple. And I think thinking about debate in simple ways allows you to do the more complex things. So today's debate strategy video is about unique advantages. Okay, unique advantages. It's not really a common term. It may be like a term that I made up, or might be a term that my instructors have made up, but it's kind of what I call it. I call it a unique advantage. Okay, without any further ado, so what is a unique advantage? So in every debate motion, almost all debate motions, each side, the government and the opposition, each have a distinct advantage over the other side. Because all motions are either saying that one thing is better than another thing, or the motion is saying that we should do a certain thing, right? So we should enact this legislation, or we should pass this law. And when the motion says that one thing is better than the other thing, or stands for something, there's always a unique advantage to the proposition and an opposition. And this unique advantage is really difficult to refute as being untrue. Every time you have a debate motion, there will be one specific advantage that your side has that is really difficult to refute as being untrue. And this advantage that your team has will allow you to build arguments that are really hard to refute. Let me give you an example of this and what it looks like. So let's take the simplest debate motion, right? The simplest debate motion, this house would ban smoking. So proposition and opposition both have an advantage in this debate motion. Proposition's advantage is the idea that smoking is unhealthy and that banning it creates a healthier society. That's really hard to refute by opposition. There are ways that they could try to hurt that argument and make that argument less strong, but the idea that smoking is unhealthy, first, is very hard to say that it's wrong, and the idea that banning smoking would make people healthier, it's really difficult to say that that's wrong as well, that that's untrue. Whereas the opposition's advantage is the idea that banning anything restricts people's freedom. It's really difficult as proposition to refute that idea, the idea that banning something restricts freedom. I mean, there are ways around it to say that what really is freedom? Freedom is being able to have a good health, right? You could define it like that. But regardless, in the proposition's world, they want people to be able to do less things. And so as proposition, it's hard to say opposition's argument or their advantage is incorrect or wrong. So this is what I mean by unique advantages. The proposition has the unique advantage that smoking is unhealthy and banning it creates better health for people. And the opposition has the unique advantage that banning anything is restricting the freedom of the people in your state. So from there, you want to build out the impact and you want to build out the weighing of each of those advantages. You want to say why your advantage is more important than the advantage of the other side. In a way, the way that would work is you would say that the better health outcomes from the motion are more important than the freedom that is taken away. And so your unique advantage is better than their unique advantage. And this is a really easy way to win a debate. Another example is this house supports academic streaming. So academic streaming is when you separate classes into multiple difficulty levels. So you maybe have one low-level difficulty class, one medium-level difficulty class, and one high-level difficulty class. All three classes are grade 9 classes, but they're separated into difficulties. So if you support academic streaming, you have the advantage that you can create a diversity of teaching because you literally separate it into low difficulty, medium difficulty, and high difficulty. And so the curriculums taught in each difficulty would be different curriculums. So that is your unique advantage as proposition. As opposition, your unique advantage is that you have integrated classes. and you have people of different academic strengths within the same classes, and you have integration. Proposition is the only team that can have a diversity of teaching, and opposition is the only team that can have integrated students. Because having a diversity of teaching is the opposite of integrated students, right? And having integrated students is the opposite of having a diversity of teaching. You cannot teach the students separate things if they are all integrated together. And you cannot integrate the students together if you're trying to teach them separate things. So these are unique advantages for proposition and opposition. The proposition's advantage now leads to other impacts. Maybe proposition's advantage of a diversity of learning would lead to better learning outcomes because the learning can be catered towards the difficulty level that is suited to the student. Or the opposition's advantage of integrated students could lead to the argument of how people would be more understanding of different types of people and different intelligence levels. And this would build a more cohesive society where people who are good at studying and people who are bad at studying understand each other and are friends with each other, right? And you can't get that in a world where you separate the classes. So proposition's advantage of a diversity of teaching leads to arguments, and opposition's advantage of integrated students leads to an advantage. And so you, again, want to build out that argument and build out the impacts and say your advantage is better than the other team's advantage. Because then you have an argument that is really hard to refute, and it is the argument that can take you to victory. So, I think the real important question is, how do you find the unique advantage of your side of the motion? And very often, you have to think about the base idea. What is the base idea behind the motion? What is the motion doing? Because the advantage for proposition for this house would ban smoking, the base level idea is that we are stopping people from consuming bad, unhealthy products. We're stopping them from doing it. And so that base idea creates proposition's advantage. And then the base idea of banning smoking is that you are restricting freedom. And so therefore, opposition can say that they have the advantage of restriction, and that restrictions are bad. So trying to find the unique advantage comes from thinking about the most simple part of So if you want to do a little bit of homework, maybe think to yourself, how would I find
every word I move so descriptive like an adjective? I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it.
This question in the
I got facts over tracks. This
I want you to think about it. What is proposition's unique advantage
I'm
for
okay
this
last,
motion?
but I
And
don't
what is
know if that
opposition's
can
unique
erase all the
advantage
past
for
and the
this
pettiness.
motion? The
A
motion
reflection
is,
of
this
the
house
emptiness,
would
hilarious.
require
You think you're
parents
with my time,
to
you're
obtain
delirious,
a
mysterious,
license
because
to
you hide
have
behind
a
a fake
child.
exterior, inferior.
Okay?
You know
Your
I'll always
homework
be
for
a bit
yourself
superior.
before
Get
you
off
read the
of me, this
description
ain't no
right on
humble
the
brag. I
answer
want
is
you to
what is
hear
the
words, you
unique
can say
advantage
them back.
of
I want you to
proposition?
feel
What is
free
the
from the
unique
chains
advantage
that last, and to
of
believe in
opposition
what
in
you
this
got.
motion?
It was built to
This
last.
house would require parents to obtain a license to have a child. So that is my strategy lecture on unique advantages. I really hope to learn this technique, because understanding the advantage of each side is the best way to give yourself a winning strategy, and the best way to make their reputation even Alright, so that's the end of the video for today, and make sure you do your homework. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Confidence, dreams, and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead